never more than 3 Lincoln boys alive at the same time. Generally speaking, the little one would always sleep in the same bedroom as the parents. And sometimes the other 2 would sleep in their own room, two to a bed. After 1856, though, that guest bedroom also doubled as Robert's bedroom. So he was a teenager at that point. So he would have slept there when it wasn't being used as a guest bedroom. And the little boys would sleep in the room we're going to see in just a second. Anything else?
Estimate, how often were there guests in the house that slept in the room?
Well, as Mr. Lincoln got more and more successful as a politician and made more and more money and made more and more speeches, he had company here 1-2 times a week, I'm sorry, 1 or 2 times a month, sometimes a lot of company. Politicians would come up from southern Illinois to here because it was the state capital, or maybe they'd come down from Chicago, and rather than stay in a hotel, Mr. Lincoln would invite them to spend the night here. So there were a lot of people in and out, and they needed a nice room to take care of it. Well, what we're going to do is walk through the spare bedroom, we call it now, out into the hallway. Out there, take a look at the little boy's bedroom and the maid's room, and we'll talk some more. And thank you again for staying on the great carpet.
Oh.
You're looking at it. You're not doing it. Hey folks, where's all the fancy wallpaper out here? And the colorful pictures? There never was any. Nobody saw this part of the house but the little boys who slept in there and the maid who slept over here. And Mary wasn't about to try to impress them, so the walls were always a very off-white color, never any fancy carpet, never any nice pictures on the wall. But out here, we have the second addition the Lincolns made. They added a bedroom here for themselves, a room for the little boys, a storage room right here. In this room, kind of a surprise room, because a lot of people don't realize how successful Mr. Lincoln became. And they think, like a lot of us do, Lincoln equals log cabin. But they don't recall that Lincoln is the only attorney in Illinois history that appeared before the Illinois Supreme Court more than 200 times. They don't realize that in 1854, he represented the Illinois Central Railroad from Chicago, and he was paid $5,000. $5,000 in 1854 is about like $80,000 today. Now, I don't know about you folks, but no one's ever paid me $80,000 for one job, but they did Lincoln. So he has enough money that he and Mary hire teenage girls to work here. And over the years, they had about 6 different maids. We know that 4 of them were Irish girls, 1 was an African-American girl, and 1 was a Portuguese girl. They were strictly employees, and I always make sure when I have school groups coming through that I let them know I'm not talking about slaves. I'm talking about free people. Abraham Lincoln called slavery evil. He said he never wanted to be a master, and therefore he never wanted to be a slave. So the girls who worked here were paid. They worked 6 days a week. Their main job was to clean the house. They got their meals free. And since the Lincolns were prosperous, the meals were probably better here than in their own home. They got their own bedroom, which is very likely an upgrade because some of those girls would have to share a bed or a bedroom with maybe 2 or 3 other sisters. So, in their own room, that was a good deal. So out here again, looking around you and thinking about what I've said, anybody have any questions? Yeah. We get to go see it. No, this is a storage room. Sorry about that. I couldn't help it. I'm bad. Mary kept those big fluffy dresses in trunks in here and called it the trunk room. It's kind of like a walk-in closet. What's your question, big guy?
Wait, I'm thinking.
Why don't you keep thinking, and we'll go downstairs to the kitchen, okay? And if you think of it, you can ask me again. Okay? All right, let's go downstairs. Yeah, please.
Here.
Yeah, every bedroom had a chamber. And then they had an outhouse outside, of course.
I thought Mary's was like a chair.
Yeah, she had a wood panel. Nothing but the best. Oh, that's okay. Not a problem.
Have a lot of faith in the screens like this.
Yes, I'd like to call security. That's as almost over. No, I'm going to see up here.
Oh, okay.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for coming today and sharing part of your day with us. I appreciate the questions. We're going to end our tour in the kitchen. Now, like most of the other rooms, there are a couple of things here the Lincolns owned, and the rest was given to us. The things they owned, the wood-burning stove, and the rocker. Now, I'm sorry, all the food's plastic, but the stove is the real deal.